All right, so we are back for another season four, I think now, of
Season
football with the
four.
great American
Let's
youth.
go.
Last season, didn't go our way. Neither one of us got the championship, but we're back to back championship appearances coming from the pod. We're playoff performers. We're bringing back our top level insights, our high performing teams. We're bringing everything that you guys are looking for back again for another season. A few weeks late, but yeah, we're here. So how are you feeling, Jacob? Ready for the new season?
Let's do it. Let's get into it. We'll start by taking a look back at last year. Obviously, made it to the champ game. Tough loss to Sebastian. I think Josh Allen, Jahmyr Gibbs, those two killed me. But we both of us made the playoffs. Is that what 3 years in a row of that? I think so.
Yeah, no, I mean
Um,
we're entrenched at the top of the top of the rankings in this league. There's no question about that at all. But yeah, you made it to the finals. All credit to Sebastian. He had a great team last year and he was able to pull
he
through.
deserved it.
So yeah, he definitely deserved it. But you were there. You were
I'm,
representing
I'm,
you were
I'm coming with
representing us. So
vengeance this year. You'll see. Just give it some time. You'll see. But yeah, you want to take a look at draft results, fill people in on what they missed. I guess we can start off by sharing that you had the ninth pick, or sorry, 10th pick. I had the 11th pick, so we're pretty much back to back the whole draft. And it's funny because we follow the same kind of draft strategy, and you can kind of tell that looking at our draft boards here. But we both went running back, and got like arguably four of the top 15 starting running backs. So I think it's a good win there. Both went receiver next. I wanted JSN, but you beat me to it. So congrats to you there. And then we both went QB tight end, like kind of specialty position. So very interesting that we both started the same way. And I mean, we've had success the last 3 years. So I trust our strategy. What was like kind of your mid round strategy in the draft?
yeah, well, I think the biggest thing for me, it was my first year actively looking at it, but thinking about the average draft position. I feel like that's one thing, and we'll get into this in a few slides, but I think a lot of how your roster ends up looking, especially early in the season, is just based off of the value of your draft. And I think, that carries through the rest of your season. If you're, and what I say by that is if you're overdrafting guys, you're picking guys higher than they should be, or on the opposite side of that, if you're getting guys for really good value in those mid rounds or later rounds, that's going to make or break your team. So
Definitely.
for me, that kind of started with Travis Kelce. I think Sutton and Devontae Smith. I feel like honestly at this point, both of those maybe feel like reaches, but Kelsey, Bill, and then Nick Chubb. I think those three picks are maybe three of my best picks out of this
Yeah.
draft, and all of those guys, I think were drafted at a level that was lower than what they were typically being drafted at. So I think it was great value for all of them guys who were startable. At least at a flex. Kelsey is starting tight end every week, so I felt really good about my team there. But both of us, and you mentioned it earlier, the top two running backs and then the receiver. I feel like that's the key strategy really. There are only so many running
Definitely.
backs who are actually RB1 level guys, so you have to be able to secure them. And
Yeah.
Genty, speculative. He's a rookie. Obviously in college, he did everything to prove to you that he should be able to be worth that value. But I mean, you got
Yeah.
Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. It's
You're
surefire as
running
you're
backs
gonna
from
get.
last year.
Yes, I know. It's like I very fond of both of those guys. So you made the right decision there. I think bringing both of them in, and yeah, I mean we'll see how it shakes out. I think
Yeah,
we'll get into results and everything, but I think both of us are feeling positively about our rosters to start the season.
definitely. Definitely. Shall we take a look at the draft grades and ESPN's like clearly accurate preseason projections? I
How do you
mean,
feel about how do you feel about how everything's looking initially? I feel like it always ends up being different from the
I
start of the
mean,
season to the end,
ESPN
but
usually when you're at the bottom, that's good, but I feel like this is one of my first times ever getting a high ranking by ESPN, and it is five, so not that high. But you got two. I mean, we both got B's in our draft grade. Like, I think we're both in that same kind of level there. I don't know what I think about that. It's like it's a little sus, but I trust my team. I think I drafted really well, and it's kind of good to see a good draft grade for once. Maybe they fix their stuff and it's actually going to be accurate this year. But honestly, I'll take it. Right now it's when you look at the standings, I will show you guys later. It's not too far off. I'm not gonna lie, but it is early on, only 2 weeks in the season. So, what's your take on this?
Oh,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
skipped over. Yeah, no, no. I was gonna say, and to your point with the standings, we'll get into that later too. But especially like upping to a 12 team league the past two seasons, the gap in talent just isn't as wide, or everyone,
Yeah,
is competing for the same players. It's less guys to go around. So it's really showing in the
it's
quality
tough.
of teams. I mean, even, the difference between C and D. I mean, Lucas is the only guy who got a D. Everyone, between me, 2 to 11 was C and B. So fairly similar grades for everyone. And in the standings, in the first 2 weeks. I think that's kind of reflected in the points scored so far and the results. Well, I'm sure it's early on, so we'll see some people start to
Well, I
separate.
mean,
But
coming off last season though, where it's very, very tight. I mean, a team above 500 and a team at 500 missed the playoffs. That should never happen. You needed 9 wins to make the playoffs last year. That's how
yeah, which
competitive we
is
were. So, and we both made it. So we're doing the right thing. Should be another great year.
yeah, and I skipped ahead getting into the week one results, but yeah, I guess we're at week three
Dubs.
as we're recording this. So week one, we both picked up dubs. You went up against Matt, and you got a win to start off. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have one person to thank, and honestly, two, kind of like one person and one team. But Derrick Henry, I mean, you see that right there, 28.7. I think he was by far the week one like leading rusher by like at least like 10 fantasy points. Maybe McCaffrey was there, but that was all receiving yards, so that doesn't really count. But Derrick Henry had 28.7. I was down by like 30 going into that night. He gave me a fighting chance, and then to come in for the close. The Bears offense put up enough points so that Vikings defense scored five or less points. They finished with four, and that got me the win by that narrow 1.1 margin. I mean, that's like starting off the season with a
Yeah,
1.1
no, it's
point win is crazy, but maybe that's a sign of good fortunes to come. I'll take it and start the season undefeated. How'd you feel about yours?
yeah, and same deal. I mean, this was we're not showing the whole box score for this, but week one was probably the ideal performance I got out of my team. Jalen Hurts, picking a QB that high up, you want to be getting consistent value out of him. So getting two rushing touchdowns and 24 points was definitely what I wanted. Cortland Sutton got a touchdown. I mean, pretty much all of my starters got touchdowns. Kelsey, I think Nick Chubb was the only one who missed out on the end zone, but everyone else got touchdowns, and it was a
Yeah.
solid first performance. Like I think that's the thing, especially in a league that's as competitive as this one. You have to be just looking for consistency. If I can expect 100 plus points, pushing that 110 mark every week, that's what's going to consistently get me wins. So I was able to get that week one, and yeah, it was the right performance to start off the season, especially picking in the back half of the first round. It's like you never know. You want to make sure that your team's actually able to perform the way that you want it to when you don't have those top level guys. But my team was able to pull through in a way that I that's what I want my team to look
Yeah.
like every week if I can.
Well, one last comment on week one, but it's crazy. In our league, the highest score for the week was 113. So you were basically a point off from that. Like that's how,
Yeah,
and then I think like over half the league finished from 111 or 112 to about 95, which is crazy. So, if you get to 110, I feel like that's a winning number in this league right now. It's very competitive, but 110 is a manageable number.
yeah. And before we get into week two, I mean, I'll let you share your perspective of this. This was your trade, first trade of the
Yeah.
season. You
Yeah.
you talk about this before I give my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I will say one thing. I didn't talk a ton about my team after the draft, but my team was very injury heavy going into it. I thought I could steal some value by drafting better players that are coming into the season with injuries, which I know is a risky strategy, but I got Godwin, I got Ayuk, I drafted Joe Mixon, which I ended up dropping him. He's going to be a bust. Got a couple other people like Ayuk. I was excited about going in the year. I eventually realized I have like 3 or 4 of my bench spots were taken up by injured players, so it was not really sustainable after George Kittle got put on the IR week 1. And so after week 1, I was in talks with Lucas and a couple other teams with about trades for receivers because I was not happy with Terry McLaurin and Jameson Williams' performances. So I ended up trading Eckler and Ayuk, who Eckler I'm not really going to play. I wasn't going to play, and now he's not going to play, so it doesn't really matter. And Ayuk, I mean, clearly not going to play him for at least 6 weeks into the season. So, I mean, I think it's a bold trade in some regards, but I mean, looking at it now, given that Eckler's done for the year, it's clearly a win for me. I'm picking up 2 receivers that he drafted in the 6th and 7th round for a guy like a late round pick and then like kind of a mid round pick too, right around that range at 8. But with Eckler done, it's just like very lopsided and unfortunate. But it's huge for my team, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah,
As a
no, you
Commanders
won the
fan,
trade.
though, but as a Commanders fan, it sucks to see. I think the real winner of the trade slash everything that happened might be you getting Bill Krosky Merritt out of this.
Yeah.
He's gonna be an RB1 going forward, I think. But yeah, Lucas, that hurts him. I'm sorry. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
getting
I
to
mean,
yeah. What are your results?
well,
What were your
yeah,
thoughts?
no,
Let's hear it.
I just gotta say, I mean, this it wasn't vetoed, and I think pre-Eckler injury, you you can argue that this was somewhat of a fair trade or not veto worthy. At the end of the day, though, the upside was so. I mean, even before the injury, you fleece Lucas in this trade. Pittman and Olave are the 2 top receiving options in their offenses, even if they are subpar or questionable passing offenses. I mean, the Saints are passing with a lot of volume this season so far, and Mike and Daniel Jones is doing well with the Colts. You want guys who are the top options in their offense. Like that's what you look for in fantasy, particularly at receiver. You just need targets, and eventually that's going to turn into points for you. So for Lucas to give up both of those, like those are good receivers. He had a D draft grade already, and he gave up 2 good receivers for one who isn't going to play until for several more
Week
weeks,
6, at least.
and someone who now is injured, but even pre-injury was a receiving back at best and was trending towards, having Bill Krosky ending up taking his role anyway. So it, I mean, poor foresight on Lucas's part, I think. Maybe not, again, maybe not a veto worthy trade, but, and, we don't have a down bad slide for this week, but I think that Lucas is our
This
down
shows in
bad
for it.
unofficially. And yeah, just unfortunate trade for him and a learning experience. It's early in the season, so maybe he can rebound, but yeah, rough start
Tough,
for him for sure.
tough, definitely. Let's get into week 2. I'll kick it off. I started it off with a win. Really just want to thank a lot of my team for stepping up this week, finally getting me over 100 points. I would say Dak put up 22 points. Jonathan Taylor, 28, finally getting back to his, or not getting back, but this is like a peak performance from him, which I expect a lot more of. Jameson Williams getting 2 catches, but 17 points is wild, but I'll take that. Zach Ertz, 15 points. Terry McLaurin just having a better game. Broncos defense, -5. That's not good. We don't like that. So they're going to go on the bench for a week. And Derrick Henry, 2.3 points. Not a fan of that either. So he's getting a close eye watch on him this week. If he doesn't put up numbers, he might be hitting the bench. So we'll see about that. But I mean, it was a free win because Yusuke lost his quarterback. I mean, Justin Fields going for 4 points. Dropping 78 total. You're not going to win in this league. So free win for me. I'll take 2-0 and head into a big podcast matchup for week 3. What about your matchup?
Well, I was just going to say with Yusuke too, it sucks for him because week 1 he started Xavier Worthy and he got knocked out of the game too. So his back-to-back weeks that he has starters. I mean, Justin Fields got knocked out in the 4th quarter and didn't really put up much before that, but still,
Yeah,
back-to-back weeks losing starting players to injury is not an
not
ideal
ideal.
way to start your season.
Not good
But
at all.
yeah, Joel. I mean, the top 3 players that you see for my for my performers are the only ones who really did anything. Chubb finding the end zone was really good. JSN, he's kind of confirmed him being a top receiver for me this year. And Achane, despite the Dolphins being trash, he's managed to perform. But other than that, nobody else did anything. I started the Cowboys defense, and Russell Wilson threw for like 450 on them.
Of course. Of
And
course.
Cortland Sutton didn't do anything, didn't get any touches. Matt Prater, I guess my kicker was the only other meaningful player for me. But other than that, just kind of a disappointing performance. Still, 85 points is not a bad, for that to be my dud. It's like Adwin dropped 60 week one. So, I can feel good about that, I guess, but definitely looking for more, just out of my team overall and heading into our matchup. I feel positive, but it's going to be pivotal. There's a big difference between being 2-0 and 0-2. So I think 1-1 is a good in between there, but 1-2 starts to lean on the negative side of things, and I would definitely love to be at 2-1 instead of that. So we'll see how things go.
Okay. Big matchup this week. But yeah, let's take a look at the standings. Obviously, as you see, there's 3 undefeated teams left, 3 winless teams left, and funny enough, 2 of the people that were in the loser bowl last year are in last place right now with Yusuke and Adwin. So hopefully they can turn it around. But I mean, the fact that they're that far away from 200 points by week 2 is a little concerning. 176 and 168. I mean, playoff percentage under 33% for them. I would be concerned. I would be getting desperate if I were them. What are your biggest takeaways from the standings now?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what we were talking about earlier with the preseason projections, just how close everyone is. I mean, we have Matt and Ian, both Matts and Ian, pretty firmly above 200 points, above 220, but pretty much everyone else is sitting in between 180 and 200. So it's, pretty close to start things off. The 0-2 teams, I think, are definitely those are looking like free wins right now. So sorry, Lucas, Adwin, and Yusuke. But outside of those, Sebastian too, also looking a little bit free, despite him being the defending champion. So, it's early in the season. Injuries are going to happen. Trades are going to happen. It's a lot that can change. But it is just interesting, again, the move to the 12-team league, seeing how close everything is. And
9 people, 500 or better is crazy. I mean, I know it's early in week 1, and that's how it should be. But like, this should fizzle out more. It
lasted for a while last season too. So I mean, we'll see.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that takeaway. So here's the big matchup. I mean, give us a breakdown, position by position. Who you think is winning each? I mean, obviously there's check marks there, but do you think they're right?
Quarterback, I think could go either way. Jalen Hurts, the projection being stronger for him there. I lean Jalen Hurts over Dak, but there's inconsistency. The Eagles offense hasn't really been operating at all cylinders. I do think this Rams game could be a shootout, but I'm 50-50 on the Dak one. Running backs, I think you have. So yeah, I was like, running backs, I think you have 100%. So yeah, that's a concern for me. But quarterback,
Achane's a bit scary to me, I will say.
Against Buffalo, though, I'm like,
the thing is, he gets catches though too. So like, even if they're down, he'll be in the game.
I'm sure he'll find the end zone, but yeah, no, Buffalo's a different matchup, and yeah, I don't know. I guess what do you feel about the rest? So I guess you're saying
So I think you got QB. Mm-hmm. I'd say running back is. I mean, I think it's closer than you're saying. I don't think 100% I win the running back matchup in terms of like total points, but I would say I should win. I would say I should get like 30, around 30. You probably get around 20 to 25. I mean, depending on how Genti does, like if he finally wakes up, like it could be a lot closer. So, I mean, that's just based off averages, but I do think Achane could just explode for like 20 to 32. So like, I do think it'll be close at the end of the day, but yeah, I'd say that's leaning my way. Receiver, I would say, honestly, it's pretty split. I think JSN's the best, but then I think Terry and Jameson Williams are kind of second, third, and then Devonta fourth, but like not too far apart, 2, 3, 4. JSN clearly the best, so I would say that's split. Tight end, I would say definitely going your way. and flex definitely going your way. But what are your kind of thoughts on those three, and then defense and kicker, I guess?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say defense and kicker. I feel like I'm like
Toss up.
those are like a wash. We have the number one and the number five kickers in the
Okay.
league so far. So
Okay.
maybe that'll bode well for the both of us. Receiver, I do agree. I think that JSN is probably the most consistent option, but Jameson Williams. I mean, you talked about it last week. He got, or I don't know if it was week one or week two, but two catches and he got like 11, 10 plus points. So
Yeah.
he's very capable. I think his ceiling is probably the highest out of any of the receivers, and he's another guy
Yeah.
similar to Achane at running back who, he could
The
easily drop
boom or
30 points.
bust.
And yeah, that changed the matchup. So that one does concern me a little bit. Kelsey and Ertz, I feel like that's a fairly even,
Yeah.
similar roles within the offenses. And I do feel good about Krosky Merritt at my flex. So, I feel confident about a lot of these matchups, but I think you have some really strong options. I mean, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, it's not even like those are boom or bust guys. You just know what you're going to get out of them. And then with Jameson Williams, you really do have a boom or bust that could blow open the matchup if things go your way. So I guess I don't know. Are you going to keep Kupp in your flex, or how are you feeling about that?
Right now, I flipped it to Troy Franklin.
Okay.
Still deciding there. Same with the defense, still deciding. Same with Terry McLaurin, still deciding just because of the QB situation. Still a lot up in the air, but decisions will be made in the next few days, and uh, I'm gonna come away with the win. So that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I was
Projections are
gonna.
never right on ESPN, so just
Yeah,
remember that.
I was about to say, what's your prediction for the game? But if you said that you were going to lose, that would be a disappointment. And
Yeah,
I
I,
fully
I would
expect my team to win as well. So we'll see what ends up
I would say
happening.
projection wise, I would say I think you finish around 110. I go around 115. Like I think
Okay,
it'll be close. I think we'll both put up number like respectable
I
scores,
do think
but
it'll be close.
yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my take on it. What's your score projection?
Yeah, I mean, I think similarly. I'll say a lot to a little. I'm going to beat you by 30. No, I
150
I
to
feel
0.
similar. I think it'll be competitive. I think it comes down really to me. I think Genty is the biggest X factor,
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
If he can put in a solid performance, if he can maybe have his first real breakout, then that's something that pushes my projection over the edge even further, and gets me some real value. So I'm I'm gonna say this is my breakout performance. I'm betting on Genty getting a
I
touchdown.
like it.
Bill's gonna get into the end zone as well. First game with Eckler hurt. So I
In the
I, I
same
see
game,
myself
both
going
rookies.
for I see myself going for 130. I think you'll put up a
Okay.
respectable number still. I see you going for 110, 115, but I
Okay.
really do think this is going to be a solid week for me. Genty, hopefully the noise is enough for him to finally get the volume that he should be getting in that offense. And then again with Bill and my flex, I feel confident with the rest of my lineup. I'm not sure if Devontae Smith stays, but I really feel Cortland Sutton is not giving
A
me a
good
lot of
option.
confidence right now, and I don't know if I feel confident in Ao Manor right now. I feel like I don't even know how to say his name, Ao Manor. I don't know how to. I don't know. I don't feel confident in putting him in right now. So
You can't say his
I
name. You
think,
definitely can't put him in.
yeah, I was like, I can't put him in. I need to let him sit on my bench for a week or two before I before
Yeah.
I figure that
Earn
out.
that
So
respect as a free agent.
yeah, next week if he does well on my bench, next week I'll know how to say his name. So
There we go. Fair enough. Yeah, that's last thing we haven't really done yet is a Commanders check-in. So,
yeah,
I mean, coming off a NFC Championship berth last year, and I mean, getting killed by the Eagles, but high hopes coming into the year. I mean, starting off the season with a big win over the Giants. I think our offense was kind of waking up that game. We didn't really score that many. Clearly, we didn't do as well in week two, but it is good to start the season with a dub. I thought the Giants it's good getting the divisional win too, and the Giants kind of looked like crap against us. So I think that's like our defense kind of put up like was more respectable, which is good to see for the first time in a while. But I don't know, it'll be tough. I mean, the Packers game on Thursday night was a quick turnaround, and our offense just couldn't get going until late in the game. So I think they need to kind of figure out their rhythm, and maybe that'll help the entire team. But the defense is starting off all right, so I'm pleasantly surprised with that. But 1-1 right now. We got to beat the Raiders this week and see where we go from there. What's your sense on the team so far?
Yeah, I mean, to your point about the offense or echoing that, I think we're just seeing the impact of Terry McLaurin not having his contract figured out
Yeah,
earlier on. Especially in week one, we saw Deebo Samuel put on a really good debut. He, got touches, was used in a few different ways. But Terry
he
McLaurin
cooked
through 2 weeks, it was like he looked great. But Terry McLaurin through 2 weeks is yet to show what he showed last year and what that
yeah,
contract extension, you know, is paying him worth. So it's
for sure.
I do think he'll be able to pick things up. Jaden Daniels being injured is not positive
That's not
either.
good
Like I
at
think
all.
that's only gonna make more friction, or at least make it longer until they're able to really solidify that connection. But either way, I think the Packers they're worse teams to lose to than the Packers. They through 2 weeks have looked like one of the best teams in the league with Micah Parsons added on. Like they're as much of a
For sure.
contender as anyone else in the NFC this year. So I
They are
if
the
you're gonna
favorite to
lose,
win the NFC now. So
yeah, it's like you can lose. You're gonna have to lose games throughout the year. Losing one against the
yeah,
Packers isn't a bad one, but this game against the Raiders, I think, is going to be a pretty important litmus test, regardless of whether or not Jaden Daniels is hurt. Like I think
yeah,
Mariota is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. Not that you don't want
I
Jaden
agree.
Daniels out there, but where you're wanting to see more out of that offense, just more fluidity. And, maybe again, whether it's Bill breaking out, whether it's McLaurin, getting into more of a rhythm, there's definitely a step missing there right now.
Yeah. I think if we can bounce back, even if it's with Mariota after that tough loss against arguably the best team in the league right now, we'll be in good shape. But for now, just gotta beat the Raiders. Cool. Well, I mean that's all we got for right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you soon with some guests. Ideally, some more takes for y'all, some more just fantasy news and updates from our league. So see you all next week.
See you guys soon.